Hello everyone, my name's Kristen and this is Learning with Dogs. Today's topic is sit. For today's lesson, you'll need some kind of a harness or a collar on your puppy, a leash, some sort of treat bag is recommended, and your puppy's favorite treats. When we work with the sit, we want to think about the physics of our puppy sitting. We pull up and back, her butt goes to the floor, I say good, and she gets a little treat. Then we can pull her forward, and the treats I'm giving her are incredibly tiny. Right now I'm using a little pill pocket as a snack. They're one of her favorites, and I break it off to this tiny little piece. Or I let her basically have a little lick of the pill pocket. So I don't want her to get any treats while she's doing something like she is right now. I want to get her into the sit. So when I use the treat to pull up and back on her nose, it gets her butt to go to the floor. Good. And as soon as her butt touches the floor, I let her have a little lick of that snack. So the sit is a very important behavior for your puppy. Good. It's a counter behavior to so many other behaviors that your puppies can do that are naughty. If they jump up on you, or jump on furniture that you don't want them to, or on a friend that's visiting, we can get them into that sit so that they can't do those other behaviors. So notice I'm not pulling on my puppy at all. I'm only using the treat to get her nose up to the ground. Nose up off the ground and butt on the ground. So she gets onto that sit. Good. At first if you noticed as she was doing it, I gave her the treat immediately as soon as her butt touched the ground. But when I pull up and get her to sit now, I'm gonna wait 1 second. Good. And then she gets her treat. I can get her to stand up again by pulling my hand forward, up and back. She'll sit. Good. So I waited a little longer second for her. She gets up again and she can walk around. You could even get her to follow you with the treat here, up and back, and we get her to sit. Good girl, good. And here we can get her to sit for a longer time. Good. She sat and sat, so then I can reward her again. She's sitting here, we say, good girl, that's a good sit. So if you notice, I haven't really said the word sit too much yet. I'm using the lure, and I'm getting her brain to learn that when I pull this treat up and back, that means she should put her butt down to the floor and get into that sit. Then she's learning that she should stay here for a little bit longer. That helps her be a little more patient with the command and not demanding me to just feed her a treat instantly. If she gets up, we just start over. I'll lure her back over right here so we can see her on the camera. Doesn't matter where your puppy's at with you. If they're next to you or in front of you right now. It's all about just letting them learn that pulling up and back on the treat will give them a reward when they sit down. So when I have a puppy that's able to sit consistently, my point of reference is always, are you willing to bet your paycheck that your puppy understands the lesson that you've been trying to teach them? So if I pull up and back on Olive's nose and I get her into that sit, she's pretty consistent for me. So I'm at the point now where I'm willing to bet my paycheck that if I pull up and back on her nose, I can get her to sit. So when I do that now, I'm going to start pairing the behaviors. Good girl, Olive. So I'm gonna pull up and back. Olive, sit. And she didn't do it. So it's not the end of the world if they don't do it. I was willing to bet my paycheck on that one. It didn't work out, but that's okay. Good girl. She got a little distracted because she heard another dog, and it distracted her for a second. So we're just gonna go right back on track, and she'll remember what she needs to do. So we pull up and back. Olive, sit. Good girl. Yes, that's a good girl. Okay. So I'm gonna start releasing her now. She's gonna start listening to more and more of my words. I'm gonna pull up and back. Olive, sit. Good girl. Good, sit. I can remind her that she was sitting, and then I'll say, okay, and she'll know that she can get up and be free. So she doesn't have to, but I like to kind of move my hand forward away from her face so you can see that kind of lures her to stand up. and then I can reset and keep playing. Good sit. So here she came up to me and offered the sit. That one is incredibly important to notice and reward when we're working with our puppies. She chose to sit there instead of, if you remember at the start of the video, she was climbing up on me. Instead of climbing up on me when she wanted this treat here, she just offered me that sit. And that's one of the beautiful powers of the sit behavior for a puppy, is that it stops unwanted behavior. So right now she has a choice. She wants this treat. She's not responding quite as quickly to my hand because I moved my hand farther away from her nose. So if you noticed that the difference with my hand really does make a difference in her ability to understand how to get into that position. So if I pull up too high, you know, she loses it and she can't do the sit. Or if I pull too fast, sometimes that gets confusing. Or if I do it too low, then she can't really get her head up to be able to get into that sit. So I pretend like there's a string I can pull out of my puppy's nose. I make contact with that string, pull the treat forward, I can do a stand, pull that up and back, and I can get her into that sit. But we have to make contact with that string to get her to do those behaviors. So don't move your hand too fast, you'll break the string. Or if you start too high, then we won't be able to get her connection, and she won't realize where to put her head to know how to put her bottom. So that's the sit. You're going to practice the sit multiple times a day, but just for a very short time, a minute or two. You can do simple exercises like this, and if your puppy knows other behaviors, you can try those as well. We call those the puppy push-ups, and you can integrate a sit, a down, stand, circle, lots of fun things for your puppy as you work on their various behaviors. But keep it short, a minute or two of lesson, and give them a break. You can see little Olive is about done now. She's ready to go do something else. So we're not going to push her brain too hard. A short and efficient lesson with a puppy is very powerful. So enjoy, don't forget to subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you on our next video.